So we are starting. Again, the title of the webinar is 7 Qualities of Agile Team Member, and I put on my presentation these 7 origami birds to represent and to show you that qualities that I'm going to talk about are not simple, because I don't think that it is enough just to be nice or to be polite or to be respectful in order to be a successful Agile team member. A team member who will bring value to the team and, on the same hand, to feel comfortable in the Agile team. So the qualities that I am going to talk about today are complex, and it can be created of different other qualities. A few words about me. I'm Svetlana. I work at Agile practice in Luxoft in Kiev office. I have 13 years in IT. I was a computer linguist, a technical writer, quality assurance. Most of the time I was doing project and program management, and now for 3 years I'm doing actively Agile coaching. I work with delivery teams, set up Scrum in these teams or other Agile processes and practices, and maintain these processes in a good state with the help of Scrum Masters or Product Owner, management of the programs, and help people to improve their Agile process, to set up and to improve Agile processes. I also have different hobbies, and I also have LinkedIn profile where you can follow me, follow my news, new blogs, new webinars, and new videos from me. Let's quickly go through the understanding of what is Agile, because we are going to speak about Agile member. So let's define very shortly what is Agile. So Agile is firstly a mindset which represents itself through 4 values, 12 principles, and various practices. What I mean by this? I'm going also to read your questions from time to time. So if you have any questions, you can write it down. If there will be too much questions, I will answer it just after the webinar, not during the webinar. People are asking me to go through some topics that are important for PSM certification. I'm not sure that I will be able to do it during this webinar. If I remember it, I will do this. Because PSM is Professional Scrum Master, and I'm going to talk about Agile, and Agile is bigger than Scrum. So, what is Agile? Mindset, values, principles, and practices. And mindset is here, it is green there, and it reveals and represents itself through 4 values. I think you all know of them, because 4 values is a part of Agile Manifest, and the other part of Agile Manifest is 12 principles. So 12 principles are also, I think, known to you. So it is a core of Agile, a theoretical background of Agile. Values and principles and mindset. We are going to talk in our webinar about mindset mostly, but you should also know about values and principles and numerous practices. There are lots of practices, so it is a practical part of Agile. So mindset, theoretical part of Agile, and different practices. And practices can be composed into boxes or frameworks. Some framework can be called Scrum. Some framework can be called Extreme Programming. It can be also like feature-driven development framework. There can be also your own Agile process. For instance, like Nokia did their own Agile process, it is called Magellan. And you can create your own if you would like. Again, the practices are based on values, and principles and values and principles reveals and makes it visible the true Agile mindset. So that is all about Agile for today. The set of rules and the theoretical and practical background. And we're going to talk about now qualities of Agile team member. So we defined what is Agile, and now let's see what qualities helps a person to become a valuable Agile team member, or a member who will not suffer when Agile processes being set up on your project. Because nowadays lots of projects become transformed into Agile projects, and such frameworks as Scrum or XP programming are being set up, and for some people it can be really very hard to remain on this project. So, and let's see what can help a person to remain on the Agile project and to be valuable for Agile team. First of all, it is necessary to practice both aspects of doing and being agile. And I would like to refer again to this slide. Doing agile is following some practices. For instance, a practice of coming to retrospective, discussing problems on the project, or participating in planning meeting, helping the team to understand what will be the sprint backlog for the Scrum. Or for instance, analyzing the wastes of the projects, creating value stream mapping of the project, and in such a way analyzing where you have gaps and what will be the lead time, the time during which you will be producing some value for your client. So it is about doing what you're actually doing. And the being aspect is about these 4 values and 12 principles. So you should not only do Agile or do Scrum or do extreme programming. You should also be. Be, it means that you always try to satisfy the client, for instance, in this case, right? Like it is stated in this statement. Or for instance, being is about ability to transform processes and tools if it is required for individuals and interactions. It is about being aspect. So being is principles and values, and doing is practices. Here is what you can see on this schedule. There is some activities where you actually can do Agile. There can be some planning meeting at the beginning of your sprint or your iteration, you can call it this way. There can be also these small quadrates. It is like daily Scrum or daily sync-up meetings. It is not always necessary to have Scrum framework set up on your project. You can always have any sync-up meetings between your team members and do synchronization during these meetings. You can also have some meeting where you're going to refine your requirements. A meeting where you have your business analyst or product owner or anybody who can explain you the requirements, and you're going to work on these requirements to prioritize it, to clarify it. There can be also some meetings during your iteration, and again, sprint, if you work in Scrum framework. So where you're going to show the results of your work, and it is sprint review. You can also have any other meeting where you're going to show the results of your work to your customer. You can call it demo, just simply. You can also have some meeting where you're going to analyze the situation that happened in the past. It can be retrospective, or it can be lessons learned session. So you can also gather all together with all your team members and discuss what has happened, why this has happened, use 5 why techniques, and decide how you're going to overcome the situation in the future. So, and it is about doing, again, so doing planning, doing synchronizing, doing backlog refinement, doing review, doing retrospective. But you see, there is lots of white space around here, and it is about being. So here is the trick. So doing is actually a very small part, and all the rest of the time, if you don't think about being during this time, you will just follow a Kaga cult. So you will not be like a true Agile member, but you just will be doing some exercises without understanding why you are doing it. But we are doing all this stuff because, again, we're going to these principles. We're doing all this stuff because we think that business people and developers must work together on a daily basis through the project. Because we think that the most efficient and effective method of conveying information is face-to-face. So we have sync-ups face-to-face because we think that information in this way is correctly transmitted to one another. So being and doing are 2 aspects that are important for Agile team member. So, and again, it is not only important to know, for instance, how to conduct retrospective or to know how to make demo to your client. You can also do this, but the main value is about doing and being. When you actually start doing, not only you can do it, but you start doing, and you are really would like to satisfy your client during this process. That it is important for you to make value for your client. So Very important for Agile team member, I think, is to practice both aspects, doing and being Agile. Let me see if there are any questions. People are telling that very bad quality of the sound. Okay, let's check it once again. If you have any problems with the sound, please write to me. Let's see. People are writing just that the sound is okay, so probably it is problem on the person's side. No problem, sound is pretty good. Okay, let's go further then. So the first quality, being and doing Agile. Sometimes people say that it is very important just to be Agile and not doing Agile, but when you're only being Agile, it can also be not very effective, as people will not see the outputs of your being Agile. And doing Agile is demonstrating for all the people and makes it visible for all the people what it is meant by being Agile. So being is very difficult to see and to touch, while doing is exact practices. Like pair programming is also about doing, but being is being open. So being open can be revealed through doing pair programming with someone else, or sharing knowledge. The second quality that I think is important for the Agile team member is care about cross-functionality of your team. In Scrum and in Agile, we prefer that the team is cross-functional. We think it is better for effectiveness of the team to have a cross-functional team. It doesn't mean, note, it doesn't mean that each team member should be cross-functional, but this person should care about cross-functionality of the team and think how else he or she can be valuable for the team. For instance, you're a QA specialist, but probably you can also learn some Scrum Master skills, like facilitation skills. You can also probably, as a QA specialist, go to some facilitation training, learn some facilitation techniques, and on the next session where you work with your requirements, or on the next demo session, you can help the team to come to better decisions or to better solutions. So you can not only be a QA specialist, but also have some skills of Scrum Master. Or maybe as a QA specialist, you can also start learning how to do some development or database development. So the idea here is that Agile team member is not only the person who is caring about his or her own work. It is the person who is caring of the whole team work, because at the end of our iteration, we would like to ship valuable product to our clients. We would like to bring some value, potentially shippable increment, as it is called in Scrum. And that is why we should think not only about the parts of the product, not only think that, okay, I did the design and anything else doesn't matter for me. So I'm caring about the design, but I'm also caring about the quality of the quality assurance department or specialists. I'm also caring how this design will be tested. I'm also caring how our meetings, how we spend time during our meetings. And if our meetings are not effective, probably we should do something about it, and I personally should go to some trainings and to help my team to become more effective. It is necessary for the whole Agile team members, for the whole team, and for each Agile team member. So it will be difficult for you if you would like to develop only one skill deeper in you to become an Agile team member, because in Agile teams we have so-called buzz factor. It means, and the higher the buzz factor is, the better. Buzz factor is about how many people from your team can the buzz came over and your team still remains functional. So the idea is to have very little bottlenecks in your team. So you should have in your team specialists that are able to replace one another. It is a very good case. So the more replaceable people you have in your team, the better for the team. the better for this increment that we are providing to our clients at the end of our iteration. So good team member, good agile team member is caring about cross-functionality of the team. If you don't like it, probably it will be again difficult for you to become an agile team member, and you probably will feel discomfort when agile will be set up on your project. And again, if it is acceptable for you to care about cross-functionality of your team, then agile will be something that you will really like. And continue this topic about cross-functionality of the team. We are going to the topic that agile team member should try to develop T-shaped skill set for him or herself. So we're caring about general cross-functionality of the team, and we're also caring about having personal T-shaped skill set. What is T-shaped? Because there is letter T, like letter T, and we can know something within our project very well, like manual testing. We can be really great at manual testing. It is something that we were practicing for many years. But we can also, it's like vertical skill, and it is very deep. But we can have also some horizontal skills that are probably not so deep. You see there is white space here, and it means that the skill is not developed. But I still can have some knowledge in this. For instance, again, tester, QA engineer who knows very well manual testing can also know something about Scrum coaching. The person can know Scrum and to coach the team on coaching. For instance, as someone from the team came to this person and asked, could you please explain me what story point means? Could you please explain me the purpose of these retrospectives? I can't get it. What you're doing with these planning poker cards? I'm not sure that I'm understanding it correctly. Could you help me? So, and this person, because this person have also some horizontal skills developed, can help the person to understand also some ideas of Scrum. The person who knows very well manual testing can also know business analysis. For instance, the person can help business analyst to test the requirements, because maybe it is not about only necessary to test the code, the features, but also it is good when you're able to test the requirements first of all, in order to provide the correct code base afterwards. So the person can help business analyst as well. Maybe the person can start developing into automation testing and continuous integration specialist to become a build engineer. Maybe. So the person can also learn something from this area. Or the person can start being interested in making QA community on program level or on company level. It is good, why not, to share our knowledge, to share our lessons learned, to share our failures, and to share our successes, to share our best practices within other specialists. Why not to be organizer of QA community? And it is also valuable for Agile specialist to spread his or her knowledge into different disciplines, not only on one, but one still should be quite deep, and the person should also invest lots of time in this main discipline. Let me go back. So, and the person can also do some public speaking, for instance, speaking on conferences or on town halls, or making some workshops for the team members. Why not? Again, if you have some problems with manual testing on your project, for instance, you have like 8 developers and 1 manual testing engineer, probably this person can help other developers to understand the value of manual testing and to show them how to do effective manual testing. Maybe someone from the development team can help this person to do the manual testing as well, at least of his or her own features that were developed by this person. So the person can also have some skills of public speaking, maybe some negotiation skills, maybe some persuasion skills. So it is important for Agile specialists, I think, to develop this T-shaped skill set. So some questions. What if team members are not interested in different specialization apart from their main work, like developers who don't like testing or maintaining environments? Okay, then for this person, Agile will be hard to follow. Agile principles, values, and practices will be hard to follow. And it will mean for you, if you're, for instance, a manager, that when you are set up in Agile on your project, it will mean that you will face resistance from these people. Sometimes people leave in projects when Agile is set up because, again, it's difficult. If I would like to develop my skills only in one direction, and Agile requests for me to have different knowledge in different domains, I can feel this pressure, and probably for me it will be better to leave the project. But again, going to the previous slide. Here I said that it is important to care about cross-functionality of your team. If you have all the necessary disciplines within your team, all the necessary skills within your team on the required level, probably there is no need for developer to start doing manual testing. But if you have lack of these disciplines, it is actually a team business to understand how they're going to cope with it, because the team in Agile are self-organized. So if the people can't do this, probably they're not true Agile team, and then they require management. Probably you should, as a manager, decide what to do with them, but it will not be Agile approach. So, caring about cross-functionality is important, and also develop a T-shaped skill set. For whom also Agile will be hard to live in, or for whom Agile will be good to live with, is for people with fixed and growth mindset. Fixed mindset is not very good to have when you're going to work in Agile team, because in Agile we embrace challenges and we embrace changes. And fixed mindset, as you see from this title, it is fixed and it is very stable. And for some people, it is fine to have the stability all for several years, to work on some maintenance project, to do bug fixing all the time, or to do refactoring for many years. So that's fine. If you have appropriate project for the appropriate people, you will be happy. But in Agile, everything is changing, like requirements are changing, scope during sprint is changing, and it is again fine. You can also find out on retrospective that something should be changed, and you should also face with it. You should also do something with it. This is a theory about fixed mindset and growth mindset developed by Carol Dweck. She is saying that some people think that mindset is something stable. And for instance, if you were not able to play violin now, you will not be able to play violin or piano in the future. So it is not possible to learn. You go to life with some fixed qualities, with some fixed mindset, with some fixed abilities that you are not able to change. What it is done for you, it is done. What the nature has given to you, it is given. It is about fixed mindset. But some people think that you can grow your mindset, that you can learn some new stuff, that you can learn from your mistakes, and actually you can embrace challenges, because challenges are just the area where you can grow. But people with fixed mindset usually avoid challenges because they would like to stay in a very stable place. They don't want to change anything, as it makes them stress a lot. And that is why probably these people give up very easily. They try to do something, they fail, and usually we fail when we are doing something at the first time. But people with growth mindset persist in the face of setbacks. So if you did something, you fail, you learn from your mistakes, and you try again, and you fail again. And you can fail like for 50 times, and you're trying to adopt your behavior. Like Agile is also called like adoptive methodology, Scrum's adoptive framework. So we're trying to adopt to understand what we can do different next time in order to win, in order to get success instead of failure. Also, these people with fixed mindset So again, it is like black and white. Some of us are more tend to be of growth mindset, and some of us are more to be of fixed mindset. There are very little people who are 100% fixed and 100% growth mindset. So it is a model, and there is some distribution within this model of different kind of people. If the person is more tends to be open to changes, open to challenges, not afraid to follow, persist in the face of setbacks, it mostly means that the person has growth mindset, and probably Agile will be easier for this person to live in, to have in his or her team, or program, or organization. People with fixed mindset usually feel threatened by success of others. They think that this success is a danger for them. While people of growth mindset find lessons and inspiration, they think, okay, Alex did it, why not me? I also can try. Probably I will be also good on this. It's like people with growth mindset say. And when you tell them, okay, let's have our retrospective in a bit different way, you know new technique about this, they can say, okay, let's try, let's see, maybe it will be better. While people with fixed mindset can say, oh no, let's keep the format that we're all used to. Let's do this, it works for us, so let's stay with this. It is, again, in Agile, it is not very good to have fixed mindset, but in life, probably it is fine. We need people with different types, and in such a way, we can, as a human beings, we can achieve different results. So, but for Agile, growth mindset is more preferable. People of growth mindset confront uncertainties. If I think that something is going wrong, I can ask the person, why you do this? Or for instance, why we're going to do Scrum, for instance. But people who has fixed mindset can say, okay, let's do it, just because the people would not like to have any conflicts, just because the people would like to stay where they are. They can also agree to have something new, but actually they will sabotage it at the future. The people can agree on it just in order not to have quarrels with you, in order not to have any conflicts, confrontations with you. But people with growth mindset, they prefer to question the ideas, the assumptions, the ways of work, the approaches. So they question and say, why we're going to do this? Just explain me, because it's important for me. And I would like to see all the risks of the situation, and I would like to see all the benefits of this situation. People with fixed mindset can take feedback personally, and in Agile, we are achieving feedback very, very often. Actually, Agile is about getting feedback very often, adopt based on this feedback, and providing new results. We're getting feedback on review, on demo sessions, we're getting feedback on retrospective sessions, we're getting feedback from our client, we're getting feedback from our team members. So in Agile, it can be difficult to take feedback personally, because it is coming to you on daily basis, and it can torture the people who has fixed mindset. We have some questions. So there is a comment, no one able to play violin at birth. Yes, yes, definitely. But people with growth mindset think this way. Okay, I'm not able to play violin now, but maybe in a year I will play it, and I will play it quite well. I think so. But people with fixed mindset can think, oh no, violin is not like my piece of cake. Violin is not for me. I'm not good at playing any musical instruments. Actually, I'm not this type of person. Oh, mathematics, no, mathematics. Oh, I'm good at literature, but mathematics, again, it's something that I'm completely ignorant in. So it's about a possibility to grow or not to grow. Some people are telling that the sound is not working. Again, if you have any problems with the sound, please write to me, because for now there is just one comment about going further. So again, having growth mindset is good for Agile person, because we have lots of changes, and Agile is about getting feedback and adopting based on this feedback. Awesome. When you're Agile team member, it is good to improve your competence basing on some model or just having some idea how you're going to improve your competence of something and make it transparent for everybody else. For instance, going back to this model of PDCA specialist, you have good skills in manual testing and you decide to learn Scrum coaching, or you would like to practice Scrum coaching because you already know something about Scrum coaching, or you would like to practice business analysis. And in this model, you can see there is different levels. Like the first level is shoe, when you're following the techniques without modifications. So this is like a matrix of learning. It is good to use it in Agile because it makes for you to transparent your areas of improvement and others' areas of improvement. And during this phase, you just try to copy. You just try to follow the instruction. You follow the rule. For instance, you manual tester and you would like to develop some skills in Agile coaching or Scrum coaching. Then you go to some training, you read some book, and you do exactly it is written in the book. So they recommend you to have some opening in retrospective, some information gathering in retrospective, some dot voting technique in retrospective, and action items written at the end of retrospective. And you follow this template all the time. So it is the way how you can learn on the level shoe. And on this level, you need lots of guidance and you need lots of support and you need to do lots of teaching. So you go to a coach and ask a coach what I should read, what I should do, just please can you help me to create a facilitation session with me all together. So I need this support. You can also use this matrix being a manager of someone. Being a manager, not only in Agile team, but I think its metrics can be used in different areas. You can see who of your people are on shoe level, who are on high level, who are on re level, and based on this, you can provide them different types of information and actually deal with them on a different level. For instance, when you would like to come personally to high level, in this way, taking our example of conducting retrospective using one and the same scenario, you can start trying doing something different. For instance, you would like not to use some opening techniques at the retrospective, or you would like to use not dot voting but finger voting. So you would like to change something. You are just breaking the system to understand what else it can provide to you. So you're breaking the rule, and actually here you can see many possibilities, and you can see that retrospective format is not only one for the whole life. There are like hundreds of retrospective formats. There are many variants how to represent the results of your work to your client. But I think all of you know that that most of the things that we are doing in our professional life can be done in different ways. Like two very different people can be both very successful managers, and they can act differently, but still be effective. So again, when you are just starting learning something, you're on shoe level. You need lots of instructions, you need guidance, support, and lots of teaching. But when you come to high level, it means that you still need some instruction, and you still, as a manager or as Agile team member, coach someone, but not providing lots of instructions, but mostly providing just part instructions and doing referring. Referring means that you can not, for instance, tell a person what is planning POC, but you can say, okay, I have a team that sits near us. You can go to them and to ask them about possibility to present at their planning meeting. I know that they do planning POC, and if you would like to see how it is done correctly on practical basis, you can go to them and ask them, okay, I can do it for you, just asking, but you need to go to this team and to see how it is done. Or I can link you, or I can refer you to some book. I'm not going to paraphrase this book for you. I'm not going to read this book for you. I'm not going to provide you the information from this book, but I'm just referring you to this book and saying, just read this, okay? I can also act as a coach, and I can ask just a coaching questions for you, the questions that develop you, the open questions, and not providing you the exact information. So on this level, it is possible. You start coaching the people. And on mentoring level, when you're coming to re-level, there is no instructions anymore. You're becoming ruled by yourself. You start creating new techniques of conducting retrospective. You start creating new techniques of writing code. And on this, you just need mentoring. Mentoring means that you have some person that providing you very high level that direction that you could follow in order to develop yourself. So no exact instructions, no questions, just some roadmap that the person can provide to you in order to develop your skills within Agile team or not within Agile team. Again, this matrix I think is universal. But it is good still to have the understanding where you are with what skill. For instance, you're on re-level on maybe on manual testing, but you're on shoe level, the beginning level on QA community, and you're on high level with Scrum coaching. And it is also good to know where your team members are. Many questions are coming. Let me see. Okay. Okay, sound is good. That's great. Can we receive this presentation? Yes, you will receive the presentation and the video recorded within several days. It is Tuesday. I think by Friday you will get a link from me. If you're registered for this webinar, and you're for sure because you're presenting on this webinar, you will get an email from me with a link to the video and to this presentation. Shuhari, where does the Shuhari came from? It came from Japanese martial arts. It is how in Japanese martial arts the students are taught to their mastery level, from the beginning level. Is it necessary to improve any skill, or team member can keep just following the rule for some skills? Such approach could have some many times, isn't it? Yes, definitely. Some person can decide to remain on shoe level for some cases. But again, for me personally, you see, yes, I think you're right. Maybe if you are driving your car on a regular basis and you're not going to participate in Formula One or in other speed driving exercises, so you can just remain on shoe level and do it on shoe level. And in your professional life, for instance, you can do manual testing, but you're a developer, but you're not going to develop yourself as a tester. And for your team, it is enough to have you as a developer with some manual testing skills on shoe level, then probably again, it's fine. It depends on you and on your context, on the people who is around you, on the situation that is around you. Going further. Here I would like you to get familiar with McGregor environments model. There are like two types of models. Again, it is not like black and white. Some organizations and teams tend to be one of this model and more one of this model, and some just a bit of X or a bit of Y, not like 100% X or 100% Y. So there is again some distribution. In Agile, we value Y environment more, and if for us is easier to work in Y environment, it will be easier to be an Agile team member. Why? Because in Agile, we are self-organizing. We are self-organizing as a team. We are self-motivated as a team, and we don't need this direct control and direct authorized instructions from our management that are put it to us from top to down. We need our management mostly as a support person, mostly a person who can probably help us to resolve some problems that are blocking us from doing something. So manager here in Y series is like a support to the team, and the team can achieve continuous improvement by the inspiration that is coming from the management. Inspiration, encouragement, empowerment. Empowerment is like a very trend word, just buzzword. Empowerment means that I am getting some power to someone. So here management has, in X theory, management has all the power and make very tight, very direct control of the employees. And again, for some companies and some organizations, that is fine to have it. Like military organizations, most of them have X culture. So you just need to follow your instruction depending on your position. The manager is telling you what to do and you are doing this. But in agriculture, there is no such direct instructions. We just need to produce value. We know what is meant by value for the client, and we by ourselves choose the ways how we are going to do this. And we need the manager only to support us. If there is any problems in this culture, we are going to solve it by ourselves. We're not going to come to our manager and say, okay, just blame Alex or do something with Maria. We're going to resolve these problems by ourselves because we're self-organizing, we're cross-functional, and we're motivated. Again, if you are set up in Agile on your team, or you are a team member where Agile is set up, it means that it is expected for you to be proactive and to take some initiative. But also it is expected that you will not practice direct and control style, that you provide people possibility to be self-organized. So you see, Agile approach setup can be difficult for both, for employees and for management as well, because it deals and it relates to both parts, to the staff and to the management. A question. Yes, materials will be sent to you after the webinar, definitely. Not exactly after the webinar, but by the Friday, I think, or to the Friday. So by the end of the week, you will get the presentation and the video recording. Okay, and the 7th quality of the Agile team member. It's really very, very important, despite of the fact that this diagram is very familiar to you, I think. It is a PDCA cycle, Deming cycle. You can see it very often on management seminars, on management trainings. What it is here about Agile? Here is about Agile is ability to change your behavior depending on what results you get. So you plan first something. For instance, you plan and you have a sprint backlog. Then you try to do this sprint backlog during your iteration. So you actually you develop your sprint backlog into potentially shippable product. So you're making some features, you're making bugs as well, you're trying to fix bugs, so you do something with this. Then at the end of your sprint, I'm showing you example how it can work with this cycle within the Agile. After the iteration, you show your results. You check whether you were able to achieve what was planned or not. Is it all sprint backlog accomplished? Is it accomplished on the necessary quality, for instance? Maybe you have definition of done document and you check in your shippable increment or your features onto this document. So you're checking and you're getting feedback from your stakeholders. You're getting feedback from someone who is going to use your product. So you plan something, you do what you planned, and you check in the results. And what is important, you act based on these results. You again can start planning, but you should do something here in order next time these results on check phase become better. It is again about adoption, all this cycle about adoption. Sometimes and very often we skip this check step. We just plan, do, and not evaluate our results to the parameters that were defined during planning session. Or for instance, on your retrospective, you plan to do some improvements. You write down some action items. You probably were doing these action items, but again, you can make some meeting and to discuss, to check whether you achieve what you planned or not. And if you're not used to adopt, if you're not used to get the feedback, if you're not to adopt, if you're not feel discomfort to follow these phases, you can feel discomfort also to be an Agile team member. Some questions. Is it more for the management rather than team members? Is more in Agile? We don't rely only on our management. In Agile, we actually not prefer to have management, but empower team to have the responsibility to make planning, doing, checking, and acting by themselves. So it is not only about management. So if you're asking, is this wider than for management users? Yes, it is, definitely. The team should also do planning, doing, checking the results, and acting and adopting based on these results. It is important. One more question. Can Y model get out of control? Yes, I think yes. Why not? And X model can get to the lack of creativity at all, because and actually to sabotage as well. People will be following your instructions all the time. For instance, you will ask the person to fix the bug, and this person, or for instance, you can ask the person to provide an instruction how to do something with your virtual machine, with S-dot machine, and the person can like write down the instruction. You need to switch your PC, you need to check that the monitor is working, you need, like, providing some so-called Italian sabotage, just providing you too many instructions. So both models have its advantages and disadvantages, but I don't think that X model will work in Agile environment. It will be hard to remain tight control on the team who is supposed to be self-organized. It will be difficult for them to practice self-organization. How to solve problems with subordination in Y environment? I think that the true answer that you as a team should decide how to solve this problem, because again, you're self-organizing, and I should know also what the problem is, because it's difficult to answer this question in such level. But again, I think you should probably create some diagram of communication flow on who is responsible for what. Create maybe some responsibilities metrics like RACI metrics, but again, do it as a team, not just awaiting from the management to do it. You can make a meeting with your management and all together work on this and decide it together. Why improvement, for example, skills processes are missed on this diagram? Why improvement, for example, skills processes are missed on this diagram? I'm not getting the question. There is. I'm in diagram from slide 7. So it is a model, and model, it is a limited representation of something. So model is always limited, and something is missing from the model, and all models are inaccurate. So there is always something bigger than the model. The life is bigger and the work process is bigger. So, and that is why I just show an example about retrospective, how we can adopt using retrospective meeting, or how we can also, for instance, adopt our skill set. We can plan to develop to some level, like define for yourself some KPIs, then you can do some actual actions in order to improve these KPIs. You can check whether you achieve it or not, and you can again make the next step. It's not always necessary for the management to. In one team, we made such exercise on retrospective. One team member defines areas of improvements for himself and also defines areas of improvements for his or her neighbor, and the next person did the same. And in such a way, you can involve everybody into improvement of his or her skill set and the person who they work with. So just one technique, the application of this PDCA, how it can work. Should we consider X and Y as woman and man sides, like less as about chromosomes? I don't think so. Well, I haven't heard about these, but if you probably look information about this X and Y theory, McGregor, it is the author of this theory, maybe you will find something like this. But okay, I heard that some people, when they're seeing this model, saying the same, like women are more stable and men would like to try something new, that is, men are not very valuable for the evolution. Well, just again, theory that can be proved. So, if you would like to develop further your mindset, what information you can get? I recommend you these books. First of all, I think there is a very good book, Leadership Agility. It is not about Agile, but it is they're able to be a different leader. It discusses 5 examples of leadership, like heroic leaderships, like experts or achievers, or post-heroic, like synergist or co-creator. And there is the third also one, I forget it, it's how it is named. What is good about this book that it is provide the examples. For instance, it provides you example of a manager who acts in the same situation using these 5 different styles of leadership. Just examples to compare. What you will do, what you will say, being a leadership of expert level or being a leadership of co-creator level. In Agile, we value more the post-heroic leaders, the leaders who empower people, encourage people, and motivate people, and not do something for the people. It is so-called coaching style, when you just teach people how to fish and not giving fish to them all the time. So I recommend this book. I also recommend you the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. It is a theory of fixed and growth mindset. There is a book and you can read about it, and there is some research details of researchers on this area. There is also a book Smarter. It is how to improve your brain potential, what exercise you need to do. This author Dan Hurley, he goes through several and actually very long-lasting exercises. I think it took for him for half a year or a year to go through different exercises in order to improve his brain potential. I'm not going to spoiler you and to say you what exactly to do, just read the book. And there is also a good book, Mindset. It is more about psychology. The person shows you how to be able to stay neutral in different unpleasant situations, how to develop mild mindfulness. So it's like about psychology, meditation, something of this kind, but about mindset, but not like intellectual mindset, but about emotional mindset as well. I also invite you to participate in other webinars. So there will be 2 webinars. They're exactly the same, one in Russian and one in English. And I'm going to tell you on these webinars about coaching and agile coaching. Actually, there is a difference. So I thought that professional coaching is wider than coaching, while on reality is not. Agile coaching is much more wider than professional coaching. So it was a surprise for me, because I have finished professional coaching training program, and I also finished agile coaching training. And now I can compare it both, and I would like to share with you my experience and my findings. Also, I invite you to participate in trainings from Luxoft Agile practice. There will be Agile Fundamentals training. Agile Fundamentals, it is the fundamentals of Agile and Scrum. And it will take place in Kyiv in August, and there will be a facilitation training in Moscow next week and in St. Petersburg in August. Also in Kyiv, I am going to create exploration workshop, not like learning workshop, but more exploration workshop in Kyiv, face-to-face, in our Radisheva office. I think it will be really interesting. That is all from my side. If you have questions, and we have some. What are highly regarded certification for Agile Scrum practitioners? Well, I think that this certificate is quite good to start with. IC Agile, the Agile word here is missing. IC Agile Fundamentals to start with, and you can look through IC Agile roadmap for Agile practitioners learning. They have lots of tracks like facilitation, coaching, management, business analysis, leadership, development in Agile, QA in Agile. Just go to IC Agile site and you will see this roadmap. Also, what I think is important is professional Scrum Master certificate. You can get it from Scrum.org company, or you can get it from Scrum Alliance. In Scrum.org, certification is provided within Luxoft from time to time. My colleague, Slava Moskalenko, is making this training in different Luxoft locations for internal purpose, for internal employees, and for external people. If you would like to develop yourself in business, in Agile business domain, probably you will need a certificate of product owner. There is also a training Management 3.0. It is again the same, like in AC Agile, they have Agile management track, and Management 3.0, it is a training from Jürgen Appelo. It is about how to be a manager in Agile also, Management 3.0. Oh, so many questions. Okay, let me go quick through them. How does Y model work if you have one senior and way too many juniors in the team? So probably in this way, you should try first doing this Shuhari model and to teach these juniors. But juniors, again, they're also learning stuff in different speed. So some juniors can become a true self-organized people very soon, and some probably not. So you can try to teach them using Shuhari model, and when most of them are on Ha or Re level, provide more empowerment than control to these people. Again, it's not like black and white. You can see what is more appropriate for you. When it is planned a training in Bucharest? For now, I don't have plans to go to Bucharest. Not for surely not earlier than in autumn, maybe not even in winter. It is, I'm talking about me, so I'm not sure. Maybe you'd better ask your training center, because in all locations we have lots of training centers, and I think that you are lots of in place, so you can ask training center about Agile trainings in your area, and I think they have a schedule of it. Thank you, thank you. Do you plan to visit Krakow? I was in Krakow this spring. I was participating in Agile Center of Europe conference, and I was delivering facilitation training. Actually, for now, not, but again, maybe in autumn. I would like to visit Krakow, and I know that there are lots of requests from Krakow office to have a training, and we're discussing it with your training center, the possibility for me or my colleagues to come to Krakow. Okay, thank you a lot, and have a good time. And if you have any questions, write to me to the email. You will get the recording and the presentation by the end of this week. Thanks, and goodbye.